Hi, Nancy. Thank you so much for being here and bringing your beautiful work. I appreciate you being part of Art Heads and for being part of the One-on-One Plus Equals. And I have known you for years, thank goodness, and I love having you to the studio and your sense of adventure and your just way that you immerse yourself into your process. And it's been great working with you, and I really appreciate you doing this incredible installation. So the assignment was to work with the wall, making a large installation on the wall, and then onto the floor. And so you did that. And do you want to tell us about the idea and the concept behind the project?
Sure. And Bonnie, before I start on that, thank you very much for inviting me to be a part of this, the Art Heads and the project, and giving us all so much of your time and your guidance, because we're learning so much from this and really appreciate
Thank you.
your patience especially, so, and your guidance. So anyway, yes, this project came from an experience that started almost 30 years ago, and that was an installation of land art in Iowa, in Des Moines, Iowa. And that's where I was teaching and learning at the Des Moines Art Center. And they had arranged with an artist, Mary Miss, to do a land art piece in their outdoor area, and it is called Double Sight. And I thoroughly immersed myself in this amazing piece that Mary Miss did. And she engaged people from many, many different walks of life. Committees were formed, and a pond that had become derelict over many decades of misuse or no use, she arranged to dredge that up and around that make an installation that was usable. It became a classroom for us to use, and people have used it for almost 30 years and enjoyed the changing of seasons there. And I brought my students there for years, and we thoroughly enjoyed it. There were places where you could, as I did, take my 3-year-old son to go fishing. You could go down into the water. There was a place where you could go up and take a bird's eye view, or go down and take a turtle's eye view. And it was just a delightful place. Well, let's take almost 30 years in advance and find out that the Des Moines Art Center was getting ready to demolish this. And I started really taking a journey this year that concerned me about what kind of stewardship goes into land art when an institution gets together with an artist and commissions them to involve themselves with a project that is the size and scope of Double Sight, and then down the road a piece decides that it doesn't fit their budget anymore to take care of this. And they decide, well, it is not aging well. We're just going to demolish it. We're going to decommission it. And it was really bothering me, and I started looking into not just this Des Moines situation, but others around the nation, and it really just started to bother me. I couldn't get it out of my mind. So this is a piece dedicated to land art and the lack of stewardship that we're finding.
I see that you've incorporated some photos of double sight and this caution tape and these reeds, and you also have your beautiful monotypes in there that are, reminiscent of this, pond and, the beautiful colors, but also the decay and like you say, the disrepair, the lack of attention to, preventing what's happening now there.
Correct.
I understand you went back up and photographed it because you live here in Dallas now, and so you decided, especially for this project, to make a special trip to go be in that space again.
Yes. We, my husband and I went up to see just exactly what was happening up there, and found that there were parts of double sight that were not available to us to walk into or walk around. Most of it was still available, but there wasn't anything that we found that was really dangerous. But parts of it were closed off. There were parts that had the caution tape. There were parts that had the orange fencing.
Right.
And there were actual parts that we couldn't get into. There were parts that had already come down. And we took a lot of pictures while we were there, so we could kind of compare what it had been like to what it's like today.
Yeah.
And we also wanted pictures that showed the colors of fall in Iowa and around double sight. And found that it was inspiring and also very concerning.
Right. And so tell us about the, let me go back to double sight, and then we'll talk about that. One other thing I wanted to know. So they're fighting this now. This has been in the courts, and right now it's at a sort of a standstill. We won't ruin it, but we're not going to repair it.
Correct.
Is that where it is?
That's exactly where it is. A stalemate.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it may get worse and end up not being able to be saved just because of the stalemate. Right. So we'll see.
Well, I appreciate you getting the word out to people. And so tell us about your journey with these monotypes and how you, like your art is about nature, and just tell us what you think about when you make these beautiful monotypes.
Well, there are times when I'm working on a hot box making these monotypes that I can't really tell you what's going on between my head and my heart and my fingers, because it just seems to happen.
Right,
sometimes.
I love that.
But Bonnie, you were the one that introduced me to monotypes, so it's your fault. But
I like taking the blame for these things.
But I love monotypes. I love the colors I'm able to get. And the process is, of course, a hot box, and then the special paints, and the process just happens.
Yeah.
For me, anyway.
Yeah.
And then once I get them off of the hot box and I live with them for a little bit, I use watercolors to fill in some of the space. And
Right.
When I started looking at how I was going to approach this piece, I found that, of course, I have been finding my monotypes having a kind of a floral look or a nature look.
Yeah, botanical or, yeah.
And so I had a lot already kind of going towards the greens and the...
Yes.
But I also had some that were kind of turning brown and kind of looking like that's the end of their botanical life.
Right.
And I decided to kind of go further that way. And so I've got monotypes that look like they're a healthy double site, and
Right.
then maybe not so much. So I started working with that, and then I've got these leaves and these kind of sticks that are reminiscent of some of the
And what was the plant you told me these come from?
oh, these are from daylilies.
Daylilies. They're so beautiful.
From our backyard.
And some of your silks, your silk
And the
fabrics.
silk fabrics that I use for some of my other projects. And I've used those to kind of fill in some of and pick up some of the colors that are already there.
Well, it's all absolutely gorgeous. And it's just, wonderful to hear the story and the, behind the project, and, for people to see how you've incorporated and how artists incorporate, or not even incorporate, that their work is conceptually based. And you have a narrative, you have a story, and a project like this can inform people and make people take action. So, or inspire them, at least to think about taking some action or reading into it.
And
Yeah.
one thing I found from that trip, I met a couple of artists up there that I didn't know before.
Right.
And, they were very interested in why we had come up.
Oh.
And they have studio space in Des Moines, downtown Des Moines. And they are thinking of working with me and taking part of this piece
Right.
to Des Moines.
That's
and
perfect.
having a show in Des Moines.
Because there needs to be more awareness even there. So that is so perfect.
So they were
It's
aware.
growing. It's a project that's, continues to have legs.
Yes, it
That's
does.
beautiful.
It does.
Thank you so much, Nancy.
Well, thank you.